Chapter 5. Revival. The smell of anointed oil and anticipation clung to the hallway outside the sanctuary. Elise stood backstage, wrapped in silk and silence, her palms damp inside the sleeves of her tailored blazer. The crowd roared, an organ run, a call to worship, and her name floated faintly over the mic. Pastor-elect Elise Montgomery will be bringing the word tonight. The applause felt like thunder behind a wall. She wasn't ready, not tonight. She adjusted her earpiece, stared down at her Bible, then up at her reflection in the dressing room mirror. Her curls were perfect, her lipstick polished, her posture straight, commanding. She looked like a leader. She looked like her father. She felt like a lie. A quiet knock interrupted her reflection. Geneva entered without waiting. "You look beautiful," her mother said crisply, brushing invisible lint from her daughter's shoulder. "You're the image of legacy tonight." Elise nodded, expression flat. Revival was kind of last minute. "I thought you said your schedule was flexible." "It's not about that, it's just..." "Never mind." Geneva didn't bite. She stepped back and gave a quick once-over. "Remember the camera angle. Left side is your strongest. Speak from the notes, not the manuscript, and please don't let it run long. Bishop Carter's people are live streaming, and the church council will be watching." Elise offered a dry smile. "Anything else?" "Yes," her mother said, placing a soft hand on Elise's cheek. "Make us proud." Then she turned and left. Elise stepped out to a roar. The sanctuary was electric. Overflow seating filled. iPhones in the air. The choir had just taken their seats, breathless and sweaty from worship. Spotlights met her at the altar, and somewhere in the second row, Geneva gave the practice nod of approval. Her father wasn't there. Too weak tonight. She opened with prayer, her voice strong, sure, steady. Then the message came, half from her notes, half from something deeper, though she didn't know where it lived. Something in her wanted to bleed on that pulpit, but what came out was polished theology. Her voice boomed, "Obedience will cost you, but disobedience, that'll destroy you, and whatever you don't deal with will deal with you." The church thundered. People stood. Some wept. One woman ran across the altar waving a tambourine. Elise stood in the eye of the storm, unmoved. When the altar call was done, when hands had been laid and babies blessed, when the lights began to dim and the choir reprised the benediction melody, she stepped backstage again, quieter this time, slower. In the corridor, Malik was waiting. He looked good, dark slacks, a fitted jacket, no tie, clean and confident. He clapped slowly as she approached, a knowing smile on his lips. "You really lit it up tonight," he said. "I mean, wow." Whole room was shaking. She gave him a tight smile, not slowing her pace. "Thanks." "I mean it," he continued, walking beside her. "You have this command about you. It's impressive." She didn't respond. Malik chuckled. "That dry energy again, huh?" Elise stopped, finally turning toward him. "You came because my mother told you to. Let's not pretend this was your idea." He raised his hands in surrender. "True, but I stayed because I wanted to." Before she could respond, Geneva appeared at the end of the hallway, motioning discreetly with her hand. Elise sighed. "She's going to bring this up later," Malik said. "My guess, over brunch or during premarital counseling." Elise rolled her eyes. "Good night, Malik." He grinned. "See you soon." Later, at home, Elise stood in the bathroom, unpinning her curls, one bobby pin at a time, like peeling back armor. She unzipped the blazer, slipped out of her shoes, rubbed off her makeup with a cotton pad and micellar water. She stared at herself, eyes tired, shoulders tight, the faint imprint of her earpiece pressing against her skin. Her phone buzzed again. New notification. Appointment confirmed. You are scheduled to meet with Amara Brooks, LCSW, Tuesday, 3 p.m. Elise stared at it for a long moment, thumb hovering. Then she turned the phone face down, sat on the edge of the tub, and exhaled. And again, she felt nothing. The night passed without dream or incident. The clock now read 2:57 p.m. when Elise pulled into the small lot behind Amara's office. The sun was merciless today, bright, unforgiving light spilling over everything, the kind of light that exposed fingerprints on glass and bags under your eyes. Elise parked beneath the only tree and sat for a moment, engine idling. She'd rehearsed a few possible starts on the drive over. Something smart, something polished, something safe. But the words felt stale in her mouth now. She cut the ignition, stepped out, and pulled her blazer tight. As she rounded the corner of the building, the door buzzed before she could knock. Amara was waiting. Again. Right on time, she smiled, holding the door open. Elise returned the smile, tight-lipped. The office looked the same as last time, but this time it felt more personal, like she'd been here before in a dream. They sat in the same chairs, same sunlit window, same gap of silence between them. Amara didn't speak first. Elise crossed her legs, then uncrossed them. "I made it," she offered. "You did," Amara said softly. A pause. Then Elise took a breath. "I preached that night," she said. "The one I told you about. My mother told me to fill in for my father's friend. I said yes before I even thought about it." "Did you want to say yes?" Elise shrugged. "It wasn't about want. It was needed." Amara tilted her head slightly. "Was it?" Elise didn't answer. "The message was strong," she continued. "Crowd responded. I said all the right things." "Did you believe them?" She hesitated. "I wanted to." Another silence. "I said something at the altar that's been haunting me," Elise said, her voice lower now. "I said, whatever you don't deal with will deal with you." "That's a powerful truth," Amara said. Elise's gaze drifted toward the bookshelf. "It came out of my mouth like prophecy, but I didn't write it down. I didn't plan it. It just came up and exploded in the mic." "Do you feel like something's trying to deal with you?" Elise let out a slow, bitter laugh. "Every day." Amara waited. "My mother thinks I'm angry," Elise went on, "because I don't want to smile for Malik, or shake hands after service, or gush over suitors who say, 'God told me you're my wife.'" "Are you angry?" "I'm exhausted." "That's not the same thing." "I know, but I think one feeds the other." Amara nodded, then asked gently, "What would rest look like for you?" Elise blinked. "No calendar," she said finally. "No group texts, no title in front of my name, no asking me to pray, no expectation to lead a dying man's legacy while I'm still figuring out who the hell I am." Her voice cracked on the last word, and for a split second she let it. Then she straightened. "Sorry. You don't have to censor yourself here. I feel like I've built a brand out of being untouchable. Like, untouchable, unflawed, unbothered. All the things a pastor's daughter is supposed to be." "Are you any of those things?" "No," Elise whispered. She turned to look out the window. A breeze passed through the blinds, soft but insistent. Amara leaned in slightly, lowering her voice without softening it. "Elise, when's the last time you said yes to something that didn't serve the church?" The room fell still. Elise opened her mouth, then closed it again. She looked down at her hands, clasped tightly in her lap, knuckles tense. For a moment, she was somewhere else, her eyes not moving but her mind running through 1,000 nearly moments, nearly joyful, nearly honest, nearly hers. But every single one of them was passed over in favor of the platform. She exhaled. "I don't know," she said finally. "Maybe never." Amara didn't say anything. She just let the answer hang there, exposed, but not judged. And for the first time in years, Elise didn't try to fill the silence. Amara glanced at the clock, then back at Elise. "We're right at the hour. Do you want to confirm a time for next week?" Elise hesitated. "Yeah. Same time?" "Tuesday at 3, Amara said, tapping it into her tablet. "Booked." Elise stood slowly, brushing her skirt smooth. "Thanks," she murmured. She moved toward the door, but as she reached for the knob, something caught her eye. She paused. There, on the far bookshelf, nestled between a framed degree and a trailing pothos plant, was a small but unmistakable flag, rainbow colors folded in subtle waves. Below it, a ceramic mug with the phrase, "Protect Black Queer Lives." Elise blinked. Her gaze drifted back to Amara, who was watching her, patient and still. "Can I ask you something?" Elise said. "Of course. Are you gay?" Amara didn't flinch. She smiled, a warm, steady smile that somehow grounded the air in the room. "Happily," she said. There was no pause, no apology, just truth, and something about the certainty of it, the calm in Amara's posture, the way she didn't shrink or shift, didn't rush to soften it with spiritual language or therapeutic jargon. It stirred something in Elise she wasn't ready to name. She offered a small nod. "Okay." Amara tilted her head slightly, but said nothing more. Elise opened the door. "See you next week," and she left. Outside, the sun had softened, laying long shadows across the hood of her Range Rover. Elise got in, closed the door, and sat quietly. Her hand hovered over the ignition. She wasn't sure if it was the conversation, the calm, or the honesty that lingered on her skin like heat. But something was shifting. Something had been stirred, not spoken. She opened her phone. A message thread with Malik sat untouched near the top. She tapped. "Elise, you free for dinner tonight?" The typing dots appeared almost instantly. Malik. "Seriously? I mean, yeah, absolutely. Time and place?" "Elise, I'll send the address." She closed the app, adjusted her rear-view mirror, and finally started the engine. This wasn't clarity, but it was motion. You've just listened to Chapter 5 of The Bishop's Daughter by Lee Franklin. As a special bonus, Chapter 6 is available right now, so you don't have to wait. Go ahead and press play and enjoy the next chapter of the story.